All right. Good evening. Good evening. This is the CSRN, our weekly podcast or weekend review. Before we start to introduce each other and our mission statement and guiding principles, we've got a dynamic guest. And unless you looked at the post, you know who it is. Hey, listen, let's go ahead and take a short break. We'll come back. This is the CSRN weekend review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
not guilty
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
The Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating His children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. Our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
Yeah, I caught you. That's what I do. Whenever I'm with Jody, I decide to turn the mic on as soon as he starts one of his rants, or what's that called when those people write, not a manuscript or whatever it is. I stopped him from doing it. Hey, this is the CSRN weekly podcast or podcast weekend review. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I use the pronoun he and him. I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bay. Hey, shout out to Jabril. Shout out to Mike Leonardi. Today, I have on a kind of a maroon, just pull over with a zipper. Next week is T-shirt time. So be expected something that either fill the room or clear it out. Either way, all right? I've got my brown rim glasses on. I've got my beads on. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter, justice or else. And hopefully later on, I want to give an update from Savior's Day. That was the annual convention for the Nation of Islam. I was in full effect, whatever duty I needed to do. I
saw that perspective behind the stage.
Also, yeah, I was there for that. Well, they had me in back of the stage. I'm like, hey, I'm Brother Washington.
Well,
yeah.
I saw the audience from your point of view.
Yeah,
I'm like, yep, on stage.
All right, well, I didn't get that far, but all right, I'm just making play because there's probably some other Muhammad's on here like, hey, no, he was in the back of the back. That's okay, all right. I was in the house. All right, I was in the house. Hey, listen, I think that I gave my description just in case there's anyone of our comrades out there that's sight impaired, that you get a feel of what we look like, clean shaven today, somewhat, sort of, kind of. And just what we look like. You hear our voices, but you can also kind of paint a picture based on what we just said with the picture. That's different because his voice is so smooth. So can you introduce yourself? What are you wearing?
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth, the treasurer of this wonderful organization, and I guess you could say the artistic arm.
I can say that.
Strong arm. Depending.
I can say both, depending on what's popping off. All right.
You catch me monologuing sometimes, but yeah. So for those of you out there that are visually impaired, or you just might be listening, riding on the way home, or just stuff like that, because we got some awesome voices and give some awesome information on our show. No reaction stuff, no ambulance chasing stuff. We're looking for gossip to try and keep ourselves relevant. But I am a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and bones and stones and artifacts from all the places I've been fortunate enough to travel by believing in my dreams so much it came to reality. The shirt that I'm wearing is a local rapper here, or no, global rapper. Let's call him a global rapper. It's a Live a Bomb Life. If you guys know Boom the Bomb, shout out to him. He's actually in my latest book. It's called Cerebral, about stop waiting on people for you to be great. And the hat that I'm wearing is the It hat today. People always like, hey, you wear the same hat. No, I got a couple different ones. Sometimes it's the It hat. Sometimes it's the logo hat.
All right.
Sometimes it's the littler logo hat, but I still have those for sale along with the wristbands. I don't have my wristbands. I'm kind of getting used to it because I'm jumping in out of community meetings and board meetings. Of course, this is the end of the month for Black History Month. And now you can say Black 365 24/7, because saying it during this month is disrespect to your ancestors. I know how it feels, but it to me is like saying all lives matter, when it's just another tool used, as I get in my inbox for people telling me about Morgan Freeman and how we should be a more Gentile people. And I am, but I will never forget what was done for me to survive today. So I won't disgrace them that in the month where I'm supposed to celebrate. Other than that, we also have another special visitor in the house 2 weeks in a row.
Right, for our sister Bisa Butler. And later on, I've got her website on deck. We're going to see if the tech team can share her website and some of the art that she has.
That would be awesome
if they're on point. All right,
I looked her up. I mean, I'm enjoying being obscure and not obscure, because Toledo has kind of become my entire Cheers. If anybody's old enough to remember that program and stuff. So no matter whether I'm going to a nightclub, a rave, a city council meeting or commissioners meeting, or going to start a new farm,
Oh, you could do all. Okay, all right.
It was
Okay,
my fourth
all right.
meeting there today.
All right, okay.
Lisa Balloons. Shout out to Rochelle with Pink for Paco. We celebrated her 30th earthly birthday today with the balloon release over the water and stuff. So,
hey, also before we start our mission statement, Ja Creed.
yeah,
right.
I saw him in there. Actually, we got a concert because he gave me a chance to do some shameless
Okay,
plug.
all right.
So we in March, me,
Ja Creed.
Ja, and
All right.
23 other artists. We have 8 other vendors doing a March Madness show for like everything. I'm performing. There'll be vendors there. There'll be rappers and EDM show and everything like that. It'll be at Main Street from 2:30 to 2:30. It is a 12-hour event in Toledo, Ohio. So we hope to see you out. We hope that you get some different type of culture because that's why we're doing these showcases. We have one more lined up in Kentucky.
All right.
And then we'll be moving on for there because, again, like myself, I'm every genre. I am art. Can't put me in the box no matter what you try and do.
Yeah, I've seen that. And he didn't go in the boxes that I thought he should have been in. All right.
Me too. I'll be
It's all good.
surprised coming up judges and stuff like, oh, yeah, I did do that. So that's a very good impact to have on people. I like to try not to involve myself in so much gossip and stay focused. And this is how you stay focused because we're approaching 9 years. Almost
9 years.
A decade.
Yes, sir.
It's a very powerful thing.
2014. Yes, sir.
So if you have a nonprofit or starting a business or really anything, you always want to have a good foundation, something that it's kind of, I guess you could say like with religion, that rock you hold on to when the whole world is crumbling around you and everybody tells you what you should do. And you just look to your little set of instructions. This is what I can do.
I thought you were going to say and give him. Okay. All right.
No, we're giving a fist.
All right.
Give
Okay.
him a fist.
Okay. I like that.
Awful for you.
Black History Month. All right. That's all right.
But so this is how that gets done. This is our mission statement, something that we live by, and we make sure whatever room and venue we're in that they hear us loud and clear.
All right.
We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often police brutality goes without consequence or accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable, yes, accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color, for all lives to matter. Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
All right. Hey, listen, we've got one of our guests just stopped by the studio.
Yeah.
We can say, Blair, you could come on in.
Come on in.
All right. Yes,
Family
sir.
time.
Right. Eh?
So, and again, probably I'm guessing like this spring or summer, we'll be able to do more interactive meetings. I mean,
okay.
We might still be a little bit off, a little bit of ways away from having a live studio audience. But again, if you got something that you want the city to know about, that is progressive, that is changing, that is actually doing something for the community, hit us up. We don't charge you to come on our show or anything like that. You got a commercial? Let us know. This is all promotion for the community. So stop dealing with people who charge you for freedom. I'm shutting up.
Yeah, I'm like, man, we just fumbled several bags just in, all right, in 1 sentence, but it's all good. It's all good. All right. Hey, Yep, that's true. Hey, these are our guiding principles in having a grassroots organization, especially activist and protester-based organization. How do we keep things together? We got so many attitudes and personalities. We got Blair, we got Haley. Man, we got Haley. All right. So how do we keep all that together without imploding? Well, we adopted the guiding principles for the movement of Black Lives Convening. That was back in 2015 when they met in Cleveland, and they had a set of guiding principles. We heard that. We adopted it to what we do, and these are the CSRN guiding principles. All Black lives matter, queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, working class Black lives, differently abled Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe.
Ashe.
And Ashe means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe.
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work and embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe.
Ashe.
Principled struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe.
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe.
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe.
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe.
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe.
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe.
And before we take a break, we like to highlight, especially for Black History Month and really every podcast, our Black History, our Black Lives Matter moment. We've been doing this together, you and I, since 2014. Event, a forum, protest, or anything that we've done together that has made an impact on you.
I'm going to go with our first mayoral forum.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, sir.
We did that one. That was at the Doug, the very first one.
I think our first one was
UT?
It was at UT.
It was at UT because the next one was at the Doug. Because that's right. Because we had,
we had a lot going on.
Yeah,
but we made it.
I think all of them, because that's something before stepping into activism you don't see activists do. You got the protest, you got the marching, you got the hit the table, other stuff, but nobody ever is really like, let's do a forum. Like, I never paid attention, honestly, to political forums and stuff until we started doing them. Because then I was like, these are normal people. You just email them and they work for you. So kind of you can see if they care about their community, what they're willing to show up to. It was always on the news before and stuff like that, but we really just pulled together as a community to say, hey, why should I vote for you? And that was impactful to something to do. All
right. And I've got a moment within a moment on May 30th, 2020. Everybody knows about
May Day.
Right, downtown, or I call it Tear Gas Saturday. Before then, there's a local pastor that I call just to get some balance. And a big shout out to Reverend Dr. Donald Perryman for Center of Hope church.
Saw him today.
And I locked him in maybe back in the, I don't know if it was the early 2000s or the late 90s when we were having a minister meeting at First Church of God. And he seemed to be like, hey, look, I'm ready to put some work in. So some people may not be able to be out there with the protest signs, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background that create our protests, our forums, and even this podcast that you would never know. So my Black Lives Matter moment is a shout out to Reverend Dr. Donald Perryman. Thanks for being there. Thanks for helping me with some guidance from this flag raising too.
Yeah.
Because there were some things going on in the background, and we were either going to show up or get arrested. So, hey, thanks, Reverend Perryman. So, hey, look, and that's real. Just to let people know that, hey, it's a lot more that goes on than the people you see on the podcast. There's a lot of other people that that make this happen. Sometimes you see them, sometimes they're like, no, you do it. So, hey, look, let's take a break. We're going to come back with Haley. Then we got Blair Johnson. He's got an announcement to make. If you haven't seen on Facebook already, but I ain't going to
Proud of you.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm here
say
too.
right.
All right. Okay. Oh, hell, I've been riding with you. I've been your day one, but okay. All right. Well,
Hey, you're my mentor.
All right. I said I was going to be. That's a horrible thing. But hey, listen, let's stay tuned. This is the CSRN Week in Review. We will be right back.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent, and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call digital edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back. We're back. This is the CSRN podcast, or our podcast Weekend Review, where we come to you live, streaming live from Mott Branch Library. And shout out to Celeste Felix that just lays it all out for us. They even let us use the this artwork right here. Our sister Bisa Butler, we'll get into her later on and talk about her artwork and how she's really turning the art world on its head. I know you're thinking, well, that's not Jody. No, of course not. We've got our sister here, Haley Shears. I done said your name. Hey, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Haley Shears. I am the founder of Pretty Protection, and I will be giving us some safety tips today. Today I have on a black zip-up jacket, blue jeans, and some black or gray shoes. A necklace and earrings. Oh, and of course, I have my glasses on as well.
All right. Hey, listen, I know we're going to get into some awareness. How did you even become interested in personal awareness, pretty protection? How did that come about for you?
It started with the pandemic. Of course, during the pandemic, I did a lot of DoorDash. I did Uber Eats, just things of those nature, and delivering those things. I realized I put it out there. So it sparked the interest of seeing what type of things were out there. It was kind of hard to find a company. Well, I found one major company, and then there was really nothing else.
Okay.
So the more I researched it, the more I liked it, and here we are now.
All right. Hey, listen, what do you say? Because whenever we have a podcast, someone comments, sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's like, why do you talk so much? Why don't you let Jody talk? Y'all have no idea how much Jody talks. But also they will say something about what you're talking about. And I heard someone say, well, don't you think by talking about personal protection that you're giving people the go ahead and arm themselves to the teeth? And I said, well, you know what? I could answer that, but I'll be talking to Haley, next week on the podcast, and I'll ask her that. What do you say about that? When you try to do something good, but somebody still have something to say.
I say that is absolutely what we're doing. We are giving people the okay that it is okay to arm yourself. It is okay to be protected. Things are only dangerous if someone puts you in danger. If you're protecting yourself, there's no harm in that. That's actually one of our amendments, the right to bear arms. So this is non-lethal. It doesn't kill you. It gets them away. It deters people. But there's no shame at all in being protected. I mean, that's why we have these things, to make sure that if someone was to harm you, that you could make it back to your family. And we all want to make it back home at night.
Right. Some people, okay, I'm part of our religious community too, and that's a hoot. All right, if I could say that. Some people say, well, Brother Washington, if you just pray, and I've had people across the board, many faiths, that will say this to me. They say, well, Brother Washington, why have Haley on when we could just pray to be covered and protected? Then you don't need anything but the word. And that's the way a lot of people think. What say you to those types of things? And what you say, I'll go back and say it to them, all right? And tell them, hey, we ain't hard to find. All right, pull up.
Every other Tuesday. No, that's fine. I encourage them to pray. There is nothing wrong with prayer at all. But while you're praying and getting attacked, I prefer to be praying and pepper spraying.
Whoa, I feel like I'm on Drink Champs. all right, Sean.
So sometimes we forget prayer is sometimes an accent to what we want, but you have to put in that work. You can't just have an empty prayer, So knowledge is power, and God gives us, or whoever you believe, and he gives us the knowledge to know that these are tools that we are provided with. Now, using them in vain and just for fun is not what they're for. To use them to protect yourself, like I said, go ahead and pray, but I'm going to pray and take action as well.
Okay, well, all right. I'm with that. So all of my pastor friends, I'll be visiting a multi-faith event talking about social justice this Saturday, and everybody can get it. All right.
I'll send you equipped.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, I know we're talking about personal awareness, but people are already loading up the chat. And someone had asked, can you talk about how having non-lethal weapons can be better for those families suffering from mental illness in the family?
In plenty of ways that can be better. For one, they're non-lethal. So if one of your family members were to get a hold of it, it wouldn't be like they are taking the lives of everyone. Yes, you can be harmed, but it's a fix to it. So I definitely would agree that having these type of weapons could, and you're still able to provide safety, amongst in your family. Your family still can be secure. Sometimes we forget when you say self-defense items, that we have locks or secondary door locks where you don't have a gun, but you know if someone breaks your first lock, there's a second lock. There's door alarm. So these type of things we have to help families like this, or to help situations like this. So that's a very good question to bring that up.
And that was asked by Julian Mack. And if anybody knows Julian, he also operates as our spokesperson whenever we have something outlandish to say. All right. We got to pick somebody to say it. All right. We take a step back, and Julian looks like he's taken a step forward, and we give him the script. So shout out to Julian. And also he added, faith without works is dead.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. So,
and a lot of times people forget that. They just have faith, no work, just faith, just prayer.
I'll be adding that to my speak on Saturday. All right. So I'll be ready for that. All right. So today, I think that in the title, we had personal awareness safety tips.
Yes.
All right. And it looks like an acronym for PAST, because we're trying to get past the violence. Hey,
I like that. I'm going to add that to mine.
All right. We can take this on the road. All right. So when we look at this, the idea of personal awareness safety tips, and this is Pretty Protection. Log on to the website. It's prettyprotection.com.
Yes, pretty with the I, PRETTI.
Right. And not with a Y, how I did and showed up somewhere that I did not need to be. All right. Jody knows about that. So when we talk about personal awareness, what does that look like for you?
So personal awareness is just really being aware of yourself, your surroundings, your actions, how you're displaying yourself. I was listening to something, and someone made a statement and said, sometimes it's not about how we see ourselves, but how we display ourselves to others. Oh, wow. And that's very,
Can
very...
you say that one more time? Because I'm going to say that at the church. All right.
Okay. So sometimes it's not about how we see ourselves, but how we display ourselves to others. So that goes back to when we were speaking last time, and we were saying the walk with confidence.
Yeah.
That's part of the personal awareness. You have to be aware of how you're displaying yourself to make sure that what you think you're perceiving is what you really are perceiving. And that really helps with that personal protection. Because if you look confident, then no one wants to go ahead, and everyone wants an easy target. No one wants something they have to work really, really hard for.
All right. So for some of us, we would be offended by that statement that how I look may make me a target. And I've got so many fellas that I know that say, well, what you wear really doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But does the way that you look, does that matter?
Of course it matters.
Okay.
We can say, we would like to think that it does not matter. But being realistic, we know it does matter. In every aspect of our lives, we know how you look, how you present yourself matters. And that's just simple. I mean, you can live in a false reality that it doesn't, but it does. Just bottom line, it matters.
All right. So for anyone, and this is for both male and female, what are some of the things we need to be looking for leaving our house in everyday life? How do we stay aware?
So things like when you're leaving, taking trips, tell someone where you are. I always have someone knowing where I am at all times. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we like to be private. We don't want anyone in our business, but that's just a safety. With people disappearing and everything happening today, it's very, very important that someone sharing your location. It could be your mom. It can be your child, checking in. If you're going out of town somewhere for a couple of days, send an itinerary, send a message every once, in the morning and in the afternoon. Code words are key, especially when you're traveling. Have a code word. So if something is going on, you can call your friend and say, hey, give me pork bacon. My family knows I don't eat pork. So they know there's something going on. We forget just simple things like that can help save your life.
I don't think our family has a code word. We always talk about that if it goes down, but we never have a code.
Why wait till it go down? Then it's going to be too late.
like, I'm gonna go out and get help, right? So we can't have that. So every family should have a code word.
Yes.
All right. What are some of the other things that you think we need to know?
Your surroundings. Just always know your surroundings. Know what are you passing? What are you street names, stop signs? A big one are like small restaurants, mom and pop restaurants. If you see Mom and Pop's Diner, and that's what it's called, I'm sure there's not 20 of them around the city where if something was to happen, you can say, hey, I see Mom and Pop's Diner. That will give them an area of where to look for you.
Like a landmark.
A landmark, you know. So I'm heavy. I tell my child all the time, pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to your surroundings. Did we just, McDonald's? Yes, you've seen that. There's a million McDonald's. It's not really going to help you much.
That's right. That's right.
So, that's a big one as well, that just the small things when you're traveling, pick up on small things, and it doesn't take much, just remember those type of things as well. And then walking, if you're traveling, don't walk alone. Stay in well-lit areas, stay in areas that have high pedestrian. Those are simple things. Walk and be alert. There are apps you can download for free.
Right.
That if something was to happen, you could push a panic button and it'll send the information to the authorities. So these are just simple things that will help you in your everyday life as well as if you're traveling.
Okay, so you're talking about location, and I hear so much discussion now about not wanting everyone or not wanting this app to know where you are or gathering your data. I mean, what do you say when people have those, that type of thinking? But we're also talking about personal safety and awareness in 2023. Why is it so important to consider having these types of this type of technology to keep yourself safe?
So these type of technologies are great within moderation as of everything. Okay. You can turn those on and off. So on your Facebook or your Snapchat, Instagram, turn your location off where everyone can't see it. Or we have it now where you can just do certain apps will let you allow certain people to see your location.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a matter of actually knowing what the app provides and using those resources and those tools to the safest that you can. So once again, it's just knowledge, knowing what you're doing. A lot of times we download these apps and we have no idea that the things that they possess and how they track us. And sometimes you're like, hey, I seen you there checking in. Stop checking in everywhere you go. Please stop checking in everywhere you go. A lot of times, you're on vacation. Yes, we want everyone to know we're in Florida when you're at home in the middle of a snowstorm, but you're also letting people know that your house is gone. Right. Your house is just sitting there free. Hey, come get me, especially around holidays.
I've seen Jody take trips. He'll come back and then he'll post.
Yes.
So they never catch him slipping or lacking. Yeah, I never understood that until, all right, why would he say, hey, I'm away, guys, go ahead and get all my poetry.
Yeah.
My houses.
My paintings, my jewels.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was trying to get some of the necklaces, but I
take a hat or two.
But I forgot that he posts when he comes back. So when I showed up at his house, he opened the door. All right, that was kind of unnerving there. What are a couple of other things that you have?
And then another thing is if you're walking alone, be protected. So simple things that I brought to show, just like the keychain. This is simple, but it can protect you. It has the alarm. So if someone was to try to attack you, you can pull this out. It makes a loud noise. It will alert
If you pull it out, can you put it back in now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it only gets louder and louder and louder. And I tell people, when you pull it out, throw it. There's no reason to throw it and to pull it out and keep it in your hand. Then they can just silence it. So, that's throw it. This is just like a defense stick or a window breaker. So if you're stuck in a car or somewhere, you can fight your way out. And then you have pepper spray. So these are and it's just a simple keychain. When you're walking, you can just have it on your wrist and you're ready.
That looks like just any other keychain. It looks like my keychain, only I'm not pretty or protected with my keychain.
And that's like an adult, or I have them for kids, where the kids is not as dangerous. You don't have the pepper spray, but you still have the alarm where they can alarm. And this is just to cat ears,
Oh,
so they can still put their fingers in it and
that's
protect
what's up.
themselves. So these are simple things that you can use to be safe.
And you see, we've got Pretty Protection and prettyprotection.com. Please log on to the site. If the tech crew did their due diligence, we'd be bringing that up now. So we got some talks with them afterward.
But it's okay. It's live. And they range from $15 if you just want one piece on there. So it would just be like the pepper spray. Just say if you only wanted pepper spray.
Right.
You would get everything. The hand sanitizer, the pepper spray, and the keychain for $15. Every time you add an item, you just add $10.
Okay.
So if you want the deluxe, that will have the pepper spray, the window breaker, the alarm, and the stun gun. That would be $50.
Okay.
So, yep, it's just simple. I mean, you can't put a price on safety, honestly.
No, you can't. Hey, look, before you go, there's something else that you got here on the desk right here.
So this is our new pepper spray, actually. And this one has, if you look, there's a little button and there's a flashlight on there. So that's made to blind and spray.
Okay.
And it goes in your keychain. And it's also nice. I use it sometimes when I'm going in my house and it's dark.
Right.
You can't see. It's right on my keychain. I can use it to see my lock, unlock the doors. And even walking out to the car in the morning. If you go to your car and 5, 6 o'clock, it's still dark outside.
Yeah, it is.
These are good tools to have, just to have every day. Keep them on you. And it's small. I feel it. It's so light.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just don't spray yourself.
No, I'm not.
We'll all be in
this is
trouble.
awesome. Right. This is awesome. I probably get some respect at home now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Finally.
And then the last thing we have is just a hat. This is a protection hat. So on the back of this, there's sap beads. So if you take this hat, if someone was to hit you on the back of your head, it will protect your soft spot. As adults, we forget we still have soft spots. So it would kind of brace that. But at the same token, you can take it off and hit them as well.
Oh, can I?
So you feel that? Yeah.
Okay.
Hit yourself with it. I don't want a case, so you hit
no,
yourself.
Okay. I ain't as dumb as I look. All right. Wow.
So yeah,
I never considered that.
And even if you walk in the park, my daughter and I would go bike riding in the morning, and I would make her wear one. And she'd be like, "Mom," but they're not heavy; they're really light, and it's just an extra protection.
That's awesome. Hey, listen, before we take a short break, because we're coming back with our brother Blair Johnson. He has a dynamite, important announcement to make. For prettyprotection.com, are there any sales or any special things coming up for the site so that the people that are watching this or may watch it later can maybe get a bargain?
Mm-hmm. So there is not, but since Brother Washington advocated for everyone, how about we'll start on tomorrow? I'll do 25% off any purchase over $30. Code CSRN.
That's all right. Hey, listen, family, let's make it happen. And earlier, I think yesterday I saw on the news that there was there's been men trying to abduct women, young girls getting off the bus, and we got to be ready, both men and women. And I was watching a post. I get all my news from Facebook. All right, I always say if you want to know what happened yesterday, read a newspaper. All right, if you want to know what's happening now, hey, be a part of the social media landscape.
Most definitely.
And there's just law-abiding citizens driving, walking around, and someone pulls a gun on them. So you got to be ready. You got to be ready. And I love what Julian said regarding faith without works is dead. And I like what you said. Hey, if you could pray in.
Yeah, all right. Why not?
That's right. All right. Hey, listen, anything I missed before we take a short break?
No, that's pretty much all. And I will see you guys again in 2 weeks, and stay pretty and protected.
All right. Hey, listen, this is the CSRN, our weekly podcast. We will be right back.
Bye.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant, inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober-safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
Audio Jungle.
Hey, we are back. This is the CSRN, our weekly podcast, Week in Review. Hey, listen, before we start our intros and all of that, I wanted to pull up a clip that I saw on Facebook earlier, and then we'll let Blair sort it out for us.
Hey to my friends and family. My name is Blair Johnson. Of course, as most of you know, I have decided today to fill out a petition to run for City Council District 3. And I have to submit my petition by Friday at 4 p.m. So I'm reaching out to my Facebook family and friends first to, one, let them know that I have decided to run for District Council City, District 3 City Council initially, but I have to do the first step in getting my petition in. So anybody who lives in District 3, I can help you verify your address if you're a registered voter. We appreciate your support. I'll have my petition forms on me for the next couple of days, and I'll be out in the neighborhood and whatnot. So I have decided to file my petition to run for City Council, Toledo District 3, my home district that I've been a resident of since 2012. I decided to see if I can do a little bit more in our city. So if you are in District 3 and a registered voter or need to register, I got registration forms, and let me know. Please feel free to share this video. I would greatly appreciate any support and seeing if we can make some change in our city. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see how this goes. Thanks, guys.
All right, we are back. We're back. This is my brother right here. So CSRN tradition is that you introduce yourself, who you are, and what you're wearing, and what do you do?
Okay. My name is Blair Johnson. I'm your favorite handyman. If not, I will be. Lifelong Toledo resident. Supporter of everything that needs to be supported. You know, the right things, the things that I'm one of the underdogs, and I always support the underdogs. And there's a lot of underdogs that need to be supported.
Yes, sir. We support each other. All right. Hey, all right. Hey, listen. Your gear. What are you wearing?
Oh, this is you know how Prince had his symbol.
Yes, sir.
This is the BMJ. This
This is the BMJ symbol, So
okay, so BMJ. What does BMJ? What does that mean?
So it represents the logo represents BMJ Enterprises, and BMJ represents Blair Michael Johnson, and I'm Blair Michael.
Okay, so I think everyone saw the that's going to view this podcast, that's viewing it live, and that may be viewing it later, will see the announcement. Why the announcement, and why now?
So it's been something probably that's been on my mind for probably, at least 10 years now.
Oh wow!
And it's just something that with work I've done in the community and the thought, you kind of sometimes you sit on the fence and you say, okay, maybe not right now. And it's been one of those things. And with COVID, I took a step back the last couple of years. I've been a lot quiet, trying to figure out some things and taking care of things with Blair. And, it had came back to, the things you really want to do usually come back forefront and say, hey, I've been sitting on the shelf a little bit, collecting a little bit, that's what's going on. And, and then literally a couple of days ago, I had a conversation with a friend and he said, Blair, what are you waiting for? I said, I really don't know. I don't have a reason to wait anymore. So that's when I went and got my paperwork and, I have a little bit of a crunch, but, it's nothing that we're not used to running around and getting things done. So I got enough time to get it done and hopefully we'll be successful and be able to go to the next step in this process. Because it's not a quick process, but hopefully I believe we will be able to get to the next step.
Okay. After you made your announcement, as we always do, we do a little research on District 3. How big is it? The person that's in the seat now, which is, I think, Teresa Gaddis.
Yep, correct.
All right. Man, how do you think that Blair could make a difference when most people might say, what's the difference between Blair, this person, that person, or anybody else? What's the Blair factor?
The difference, one, the initial difference is me versus them, and that's not to be shady or to be negative when stating that. I'm going to have a different perspective. The one thing it has is a different perspective and a different set of eyes, and we see things differently. That's the one thing I'll be able to bring. I'll be able to bring, a different view. I'm a simple guy. I'm regular. I'm in the community. I listen to people. Most people who have met me, have known me for years, have, for the most part, have been able to communicate with me on a level that makes sense to them, or usually don't feel that the communication was hard. Usually I can go and stand in any room and talk to people and communicate on their level, whatever that may be. And that also allows me to be able to hear them on their level. I can hear them, the way they communicate, the way they speak, and I can understand them. And also I'm very open-minded. I listen to things before, I make a decision. We have to be able to communicate with each other and we have to be able to get along. A lot of people, sometimes they say, you know what? You don't seem like you're in my crew or in my club or the people I deal with, so I'm just not going to hear. I want to hear you out no matter what and see what we can do from there. So, and the biggest thing going into this is I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician. I'm a guy from the community, and I plan to do what I can if I get the opportunity to take it to a new platform, to use the new resources that I would have access to actually make some change and to do things to make the community better. I mean, we have a lot of resources that the city has available. We just have to have the right people with access to those keys to be able to make things happen. So,
all right. We scrolled through your Facebook page to see just how long you've been doing this work without a title. I think that when I met you, you wanted to do some things different. Some different events that let people know that we care. I saw that when, I think if it was Chris McBrayer, had an event where he was, I think, helping to train young men.
Yeah, it was the Me workshops where he was young youth males. Right. It was open to everybody.
I saw you sign on for that. And then I saw you sign on. There was another event that you were a part of, helping young men learn how to put brakes on. And then after that, you assisted us at CSRN with some guidance on how to do things. And then after that, you know, there was other things that you were doing, you know, without a title, letting people know some preventive things to do in the house, some basic hacks of getting something done, showing a room before and then showing it after, letting people know that it could be done. So, you know, we scrolled through up to today. That's why when we found out that you were running. Right. When did you start caring? Because you really don't, and I tell people, you really don't have to. Nobody knows that you don't care. But once you start to care, that's when the drama starts. All right.
I think it was probably at a young age. I've just always felt the responsibility to help people in whatever way I could. I kind of feel like it's just you're supposed to. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. You know, I don't know any other way to do it. I mean, if you have an opportunity, I mean, you know, if you see somebody hungry and you have some food, you know, give them some food, because why would you let them starve when you're okay? You know, it's just simple as that. You know, I've always, you know how people sometimes feel about people on the streets.
Yeah,
I got some change in my pocket here. I don't care. You know, it's not my business what you do with it. If you say you need it and I have it, you know, to give, and there's been some days where I've had, you know, my last $5 in my pocket, but somebody looked like they needed it in here. I'll do what I got to do to work to get it back. You know, but you know, it's just you do it. That's how my parents, you know, that's how they were. That's how my grandparents were. And I think actually seeing them do it my whole life led me to know that that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to help people when you can. And I think one of the biggest things is if a lot more people took what they have in excess, and sometimes they may not have it in excess, but if we just helped a little bit, and it's not always monetary, sometimes it's just speaking to people. Sometimes it's just a smile. Smiling at somebody is sometimes help. And we don't understand that. We don't always understand that anything we do can be helpful.
That's true.
So
my next question is, man, what do you do with all that? You've got BMJ. It's on there. BMJ Enterprises LLC. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, yep. Okay. All right.
Yep.
You've got that. You're gonna have a political life. You've got your regular life. How do you keep all that balance? Because people are going to expect you to show up and be their council person or council member, whatever we want to call that entity. What are you going to do, or what do you do to stay balanced, to show up week after week, month after month? What are some of your tips?
Well, I know one of the biggest things is like with my business stuff is building a team. I have an admin that helps me with my schedule.
Okay.
Stepping into this new light, I'm definitely going to scale down on my business, and definitely that time will go into the new position, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to build a team to be able to operate the best and the most efficiently. Whatever I'm allowed to do, if I do get a seat, I'm going to do that, with the team to be able to do that and actually make sure I put forth some sort of system to be able to hear people out. One of the biggest things is I'm not going to be, even if I have an office down in one government, I won't be able to be in that office all the time. I'm gonna have to be in the streets, just like, with things we've done in the past.
Yeah.
There is a time to be in the office because, sometimes we do got to fill out paperwork. Sometimes we got to do stuff. Yes, that's a big part of it.
That's right.
But we also got to be in the streets because we got to know what we need to fill out paperwork on. We got to know what we need to do that other side on. So it's like there's two sides of it. And I definitely want to be visible. And I don't want to be, like I said, I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician. and I don't want to be there for photo ops. If you ask me to take a photo with you, I might take a photo with you, but I'm not gonna pop up for the first 5 minutes of your event to get in the photo when the Blade and WTOL and all them pull up. You know, just to be in the photos. Hopefully, you know, I come to the event after they're gone so we can actually have some real conversation and figure out some things. I got photos on Facebook and Instagram. So if you need a photo, go, you know, you can get one off of there. But other than that, I don't need to be in the news. I want to figure stuff out because at this point, you know, I just turned 33, but I've been around Toledo long enough to know that we need some more change. And like I said, I took a break for about, you know, COVID was kind of my sit down period, and I kind of cooled down. It kind of turned into me kind of supporting from behind the scenes.
Right.
But you know, we're in the post-COVID world, and it is what it is at this point. So it's like time to get back out there. I took my reset. I took my time I needed to do, and I feel like now more than ever, we for change in the city of Toledo big time.
Would you be willing to come back and talk about some of those things that you're changing, some of the things that you think we need to take a look at, since you're going to be on the front line, and in order to get that message out to many other people, it will be a good idea to come back. Hey, we can have the Councilman Johnson report out to the community. The people that watch this podcast are the people that are really doing a lot of footwork out there.
Absolutely, because you know this ain't stepping up, you know, and like I said, I believe we can be successful in taking this next step, but I'm going to need help. I'm not going to be able to. This, you know, a lot of city, you know, elected officials, you know, get in, and I have no malice towards any of them, but a lot of them get in and kind of don't, you know, they do a lot more. They, you know, yes, it's a title, but it's like, I want to get into it because I want to be able to open doors for people in our community. I want to be able to make changes. I mean, just from things of, just on a minimum, just the fact that some parts of the city are cleaner than others, you know, and our environment affects us. Just starting there, you know, just with trash and blight and all this stuff. You know, how do you think our kids feel like, you know, certain kids have to be in neighborhoods with this trash all over the place? And then you go, you know, to the cities close, you know, the edges closer to the suburbs, and they look nice and clean, but we're paying the same amount in property tax and all this stuff.
That's right.
You know, that those are the things I believe in. And then, you know, we got a lot of stuff with the violence. You know, we got to figure out something. I can't promise, nor will I promise that I'm going to be able to do something tomorrow or the first day elected or the first 6 months elected or first to stop that, you know, but I will try to figure out a change, because I think if, you know, it's still a process that nobody's really figured out. Because I think if somebody had the key to stopping, you know, senseless violence and stuff in the city, it would have been changed. So I can't promise to do that, but I will work to do what I can to make better and make the city a better place and make things more fair for everybody. And that's definitely what I'll do for, if I get elected for 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms, whatever time allotted I get elected, I would do that. And I definitely will want the community to communicate with me, to tell me what's going on. Because the thing is, yes, I will be in District 3, but you know, we're still a city as a whole, so we got to work it all together.
Okay.
But absolutely, I will come back. I'm sorry, I kind of ran off with your question.
He doing his politics stuff. I'm like, okay, we're gonna see when he come back around about block. But shout out to Jody for shouting in some of the answers for you. So we're gonna take kind of some responsibility for when you get elected. We had a hand in that. So thanks, Jody, for either making it good or making it bad. Also, my last thing is, how do people contact you? Because I think that we're going to share, not only the whole podcast is going to be shared on our page, but we'll also share the announcement. Can we share the announcement?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll share the announcement on our page. Just thousands of people that watch us, thousands of people that view the podcast afterwards. So if you see our podcast on Facebook or on YouTube and you say, well, they only got a couple of hundred or whatever. No, it's a lot more people that watch it than that. How do people get in contact with you?
Right now, if you want to look me up, Blair Johnson on social media, Facebook and all that stuff. I'm going to get a new number so I can post it publicly for hopefully, calls that aren't threatening and calls that are just asking about if you need change. Don't try to beat me up, please. My mama won't like that.
Well, some of the calls you can forward to us. So all that hate mail, forward, because that's what fuels us. All right, yeah.
But I'm gonna get a phone number for that specifically.
That's what's up.
But just find me on social media. Send me a message. A lot of times if you send it on Facebook, I may not see it if you're not my friend or whatever. My email's on my page as well. Email, so just send me a description and I'll contact you, on the side, because most of my public information is for my business, but I can still be reached there. Just give me a second to respond. Usually me or my team will get back to you.
All right. Hey, I want to thank you for coming by.
Absolutely.
Good looking. Hey, listen, this is the CSRN podcast or our weekend review. This is my brother, Blair Johnson, BMJ. What was it? BMJ Enterprises?
The BMJ Enterprises.
Yep. LLC. Put that on the end. All right. Just in case. All right.
Yep.
Running for District 3. We support our brother. We support our brother in what he's trying to do, making the difference. Hey, listen, we'll be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. The program has fatherhood classes which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. Sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it. We have to breathe it. We have to do it. We have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, let's say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So they showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me When fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you, or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
Shout out to Brothers United, man. Be you.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN, our podcast or weekend review. One of the things that we didn't do, as I'm reaching over here to grab our Nguzo Saba, our word of the day is Nia, and that's purpose. And that's to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. A lot of that's been happening, especially over Black History Month. There's been a lot of us that are posting things that we wouldn't normally post any other type of the year. Hope we continue that, just as we continue the Nguzo Saba, or the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, past the 26th through the 1st. And hopefully we pass that, keep that same energy going 365, where we can say it now.
Right.
Black History Month, 365.
Now you can say it.
Right. And I think that we need to retrieve our flag from one government center. I think they'll be lowering our flag from government center, and we've got another flag in the
commissioner's office,
commissioner's chambers. All
Feel
right.
like Batman.
Yeah, we'll go back and get our stuff. All right, get our
Speak
stuff.
to the commissioner.
Right. I've got a couple of updates from this week in Toledo, and if you're on Facebook, log into This Week in Toledo. It's just a couple of bullet points of some things that you might want to know about. I think the person that's primary responsible for this is Sean Nestor. So good looking. And I need to send, I liked it, so I follow it so I could just bring it up on my tablet and I could sound like I'm in the know on some of the things that are happening. I'm going to go through just a couple of bullet points, and then we're going to find out some of the things that are happening in the community. Let me go to my cheat sheet. Should keep. I want to talk about the last Saturday, the Coalition for Peaceful Toledo Neighborhoods announced its 12-point plan of reducing gun violence, and visit their plan at peacefultoledo.org. So log on, find out what their 12-point plan is, and if you want to be involved in what they're doing, then go ahead and do that. Another thing that I wanted to mention was regarding the Toledo Blade. I think last year, where is it at on here, Sean? Last year, there was, I think the city of Toledo, either didn't charge Block.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
whole
they didn't
debacle of
charge
everything
them
like that.
where they charged everyone else.
Should I monologue on how we got 3% of the money that they stole from us back?
Okay,
Okay,
let's get it.
Simple math, and again, City Council. I'm still precinct captain 18C for another year and stuff like that, and it's nice to wear a lot of hats, but I also have to remember to bite my tongue on some things. But stuff like this, I can't. They stole $1 million from us. They gave us back 300,000. That math just doesn't add up. Where is my 700,000? That could be going to schools. That could be going to restoring some of the neighborhoods that do look like trash. But no, it's better to have this weird loop thing downtown that looks like every other big city, which we're not a big city. So somebody can be happy. And I understand we're a one transportation town with Tarda and a one newspaper town with the Blade and all that stuff. But it's kind of, as I'm getting older and more surly or finding out how the world works, it pisses me off. And that's still wrong. I know y'all had to approve it because of deadlines and stuff, but you could have fought a little harder.
Well,
that's all I'm trying to say.
All right. I'm going to add on here that council members Comize and Moline voted no.
Yeah.
And I sent Katie Moline an instant message last week because there was some other things that she pushed back on. So that's what's up, Council Member Moline. Did I say Moline or Moline?
Moline. She's awesome.
Okay, all right,
her
yeah.
husband's a firefighter and stuff.
Okay.
They bought my books the first year I was out. Didn't even know me. So
and also I want to point out that Council Member Hartman and Hobbs abstained.
Yeah.
All right. So you had 2 that voted no, 2 that just said, hey, look, I'm just going to be neutral. All right. And the others voted for it. And I look at it as if someone gave me back too much change at the store, and I say, instead of giving it all back because you guys gave it to me, I'm going to just give back 3% of it or 30%. I'm going to give back 30% of it back just because y'all gave it to me. So that's what the city of Toledo did. And I can't blame Block because they were taking that. If you give me $1 million,
like
I'm going to
else.
take it.
Some extra zeros in my bank account.
But when it comes down to it, the city only allowed them to give back 300,000, and that 300,000 might have been in kind. You know, Blair Johnson was talking about it doesn't have to be financial. So you might say 300,000, but that could be $300,000 of whatever.
Solar credit.
Community, right? So, solar. You know how they get down. All right, man. We're making this podcast too long, but you know how they get down. You know how they get down. They ain't coming with a $300,000 check. All right,
Nah.
Gonna be some coupons for what is that TDO outdoor billboards?
Oh
all right?
yeah, that
All
never
right.
works half the time.
Yep. All right. And also want to point out, I met this young man named Brady Hall a couple of years ago when I was organizing with Julian Mack of something, whatever we were doing, it was something that was important to me. And this young person is running for Washington Local School Board. So I think I've got Brady on my in my phone.
Probably saw him on my social media.
Right. And I think that's about it that I wanted to cover from this week in Toledo. There was a couple of things for seed exchange at Scott High School. I think that was last week. So I have a farm, like Sonia has a farm and others have a farm, and it is wise to if we're going to seed swap, make sure that those are heirloom seeds because they have seeds with a cut on them too. So you don't want to say you're eating healthy, but they sell the
GMO.
seeds. Right, they sell seeds with unhealthy stuff in it. So, and lastly, I wanted to report regarding Monroe Street United Methodist Church. They're going to be hosting a Coalition Against Gun Violence event. I think that's going to be on the 2nd. I rock with Monroe Street Methodist Church. a lot of the things that I did earlier in my activism started there. And last thing to Jody, my first political forum that I hosted was for Jack Ford and Ray Kest. I think this had to be in the mid 90s. So that was maybe 96 or 94, 96. They met at Kent Branch Library and I moderated that. So that makes me older. All right. All right.
Experience.
Right. So, hey, listen, Jody, we're going to dive into our community shout outs and solutions, some of the things that you've been involved with. And I want to dip back later on before 5 Minutes of Heat to talk about my experience at Savior's Day. But I really wanted to hear about some of the things that you've been involved with, some of the things that you think we need to know about.
Okay. Well, a lot of that too. Kind of check my timeline. Again, I'm staggering my post purposely because I realize if you get too friendly with people, that breeds contempt. They expect you. They respect when you do need time because you're always there. So I'm trying to figure out how to best stagger between all the hats that I wear.
Yeah.
But shout out. I'm trying to think of some of the stuff that I went to. I spoke for the Mental Health and Recovery Board in 701 Adams. Me and that building have some special history. But I got to speak for them. Shout out to Kay Renee for informing me about that. Because again, starting my career, foster child, and all that stuff, I never expected to be doing the stuff that I'm doing now. So that was a beautiful thing. I got to read Broken Clock and Toxic. And shout out to Hunter and Megan, who was also there and performed today. Same vein.
All right.
I was at the commissioner's office again for the last celebration of Black History Month.
Oh.
And Johnny came. I saw Reggie. He gave up some ideas and proposals about the Doug. Shout out to you. Perryman, of course, opened it. And so that was very beautiful. Tenacio did some very powerful poetry. I believe it was his stuff from the Black Lives Matter book, which Johnny published for us during 2020 and everything. So that was awesome. Going back, shout out to some of the community events. There was the Strictly R&B Sip and Paint at 1215 Jackson. I believe that was Tracy and that group of go-getters trying to make sure that Pro Mafia isn't the only one holding events in Toledo and stuff like that. Let's see, whole bunch of stuff. There was the February Speed Mentoring Leadership and everything. So that was held at the Iron's Cafe February 23rd. Restaurant Week kicked off. What's the issue with affordable housing? That was the 21st. Shout out to Nick. Acoustic Vibes with Nate Hicks and friends. I know he's doing more stuff at Nicola's and everything at the Truth Art Gallery. So shout out to all of those people that are still pushing and doing stuff. Believe me, holding events and stuff is hard, and a lot of us do more behind the scenes than you'll ever know. So anybody that's trying to do something different, trying to bring fresh ideas and community together, shout out to them. Shout out to Blair. And what did we have again? That was the Breaking the Glass events I did with him and stuff. So believe me, if you see anybody come on our show, they have multiple hats. They've been doing stuff. We're not just looking for interesting people to have on here for photo shoots. We know that they do work. Like Brother Washington said, he was researching them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what, that's what we do for anyone that we have come on. And we're not bringing on anyone to, antagonize.
Right.
These are people that are already doing something in the community. So we're not going to waste time talking about anyone that's not doing what we want them to. They don't have to, but we do have to support those who are going to step out there and make it happen. Hey, listen, what I wanted to do.
Last thing is shout out to Rochelle, who does Pink for Paco every year. Today we celebrated Brianna with her 30th on earthly birthday. The other day we had the family dinner. So if you still have a chance, if you want to show support for her anti-depot shot and stuff like that, and find out more, she may be coming on the show soon. But if you wear pink today, hashtag pink for Paco, let her know you still support. And
all right, that's what's up. Hey, one of the things that we wanted to do was talk about the artwork in back of us. This sister is, they got the CSRN stuff right in front of
there we go.
Okay. All right. All right. And I think the last thing that I wanted to process is what's called Savior's Day. If you don't know what Savior's Day is, let me see if we can bring that up. I think we can. Then I'll just run through it. Not real quick, but I'll just still run through it. All right. Savior's Day. Savior's Day is the annual Nation of Islam convention where we acknowledge and celebrate the birth of the founder of the Nation of Islam. His name is Fard Muhammad, or also known as Master Fard Muhammad. Way back in 1930, he was traveling in and out of America from Arabia, and his goal was to teach knowledge of self to one and then leave. He appeared as, if you go on the Nation of Islam's website, you might see a picture of him who looks like a white man. His father was black, his mother is white, and his job was to travel in and out of America, mix in with white culture, and teach us about ourselves and teach us about them. He taught Elijah Muhammad from 1930 to 1934, and then he left. Elijah Muhammad went to the 4th grade of school, and he was taught by Fard Muhammad for 4 years, and from his teaching came the Nation of Islam. Fun fact, in the beginning, we would let both whites and blacks in. However, in the beginning, in the early 30s, whites would not come without weapons. Right. That's why we instituted a search. And to this day, on special events, we invite everyone in. But as black people are cleaning up their own laundry, we do that in our own cocoon so that when we present ourselves to the community, we can present ourselves as healed. It wouldn't make sense of us trying to heal others and we don't have our stuff together. So every year we have our Savior's Day convention. It may be in Chicago, it could be in Detroit, whichever city lobbies for this convention. And this year was, I guess, one of my biggest likes of this was our graduating class. I've got a picture right here of our graduating class of the FOI and MGT. FOI stands for Fruit of Islam. That's the name given to the men, or the military training of the men that belong to Islam in North America. And the name for the women is MGT. That's the Muslim Girls in Training and General Civilization class. We had Sister Yvette on that will talk about that, because the brothers are not involved in teaching or training women anything. It's the sisters teaching the sisters. It's the brothers teaching the brothers. And it was another time to hear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who on May 11th, he will be 90 years old. And for our leaders, we should want to protect our leaders. Most of our most dynamic leaders were assassinated in their 30s.
Yep.
And that happens for a reason, that they don't grow to be mature, whereas we most only know Dr. King from I Have a Dream, but he was growing. All right, most know Malcolm X from he went to Mecca and saw white people who were Muslims, but that's not, that's
not the whole story.
That's not the whole story. But they make sure that they kill our leaders so that our leaders don't tell the whole story. So shout out to the Nation of Islam. This is my 31st Savior's Day convention. And normally for most brothers who are proficient in security, you will get a post where most people will be in the arena watching. So my post this year was in the back of the back. My son was near the stage for security. Me, they put the old man in the back of the back of the back. Matter of fact, the door that I was securing, I can say it now, was the door in the back of the arena where if I open the door, I'm outside. So
well, like the new culture, you could use that photo there and say, I'm going to tell my kids I was on stage speaking.
Oh, right. But that's a picture of the graduating class, all of the new members of the Nation of Islam. That's not a picture of the actual arena. We had a lot of our sessions in the McCormick Center, and that was our graduating class where all of the brothers and sisters that became registered members in the year 2022, we have a graduating class in 2023 to welcome them to the Nation of Islam. Hopefully, all of us focus on self-improvement and self-development. We say self-improvement is the foundation for community development. We're not looking at ourselves or changing ourselves and only pointing at one person, then we're missing the mark. So hey, that's my my current event for this week. What do we have for 5 minutes of heat?
Well, so 3 years ago, we started raising the flag.
Oh, absolutely.
9 years ago, we started again that whole experience. If many people knew me back when I first started, there's some things I wanted to do, but tempering and listening to elders and just stuff like that teaches you how to not just to be a cog in the system, but to break the system from the inside out, one gear at a time.
So, okay.
Every hat that I take, whether it be in art or politics or performance, is a way to show somebody that that it can be done.
That's right.
It started from the bottom for me. I didn't even know where the bottom was. I was on park benches with lint in my pockets, homeless, family murdered, all of that stuff. And somehow, after all of those years, I'm still here making strides and meeting presidents and changing their perspective of, I come into the room like this.
And that's true.
Y'all see me?
Yep.
Whether it's a $500 plate dinner or it's a community dinner given out to the homeless, I look like this because I want somebody to know that you don't have to change what you look like on the outside if you know who you are on the inside.
All right.
Simple thing.
Okay. All right.
So this piece is called Beat the Drum, dedicated to us and our strives as CSRN for just doing things different. It will be in book 13 because 11 and 12 are being edited right now by the New Eurekan and the Juneteenth Coalition. So I'm halting my own production because, again, got to give things time to breathe. So let's begin. Peace. So we did it anyway, without sponsors, without handouts, without corporate entities. No titles, no sheep leading the blind, no waiting for permission or asking if it was safe to be free. We did it our way, respecting our elders and learning lessons from the footsteps in their wake, researching copious amounts of literature, absorbing film left by history and the memories in whitewashed books. We made mistakes along the way, taking notes of every time we failed to reach our community in just the right way, speaking to people who were not quite ready to hear their voice of change, putting our lives, reputations, and privacy at risk just to see another soul be safe. We inspired generations every time we go away. Hands up, don't shoot. I can't breathe. All Black lives matter each and every day. Say their name. Resist, resist, resist. We watched in horror as verdict after verdict was dismissed. So we took to the streets, flooded the courtrooms, built bridge after bridge, connecting organizations to the people who were told their outrage would just fade away. We took our losses with visible wounds to show the world the pain you could live through and still make a difference by standing true. We wanted to change the world, or at least the tint it looks through. So we forced it to look at every shade, shape, size, age, and dream, because life is beautiful, and so are you. We make note of the memories, live in our history, and celebrate the culture that brings us closer to our destinies. Individuality must be true within you, but never forget, unity also has to be a part of you too. So we did it anyway, and we plan on doing so much more because injustice still exists today. Ashe.
Ashe. And as always, we snap our fingers. Hey, listen, Jody, before we close out, want to make sure that everyone, if you see what we do, if you want to like and subscribe to our, not only our Facebook page, but also our YouTube, share, and make sure you comment. If you want to support us via Cash App, CSRN 419, PayPal, CSRN 419. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, listen to us on Spotify. That's if you're driving or just want to just hear the soothing voice of spoken truth. And follow us on Twitter also. Hey, listen, this is our YouTube page, CSRN or Community Solidarity Response Network. You saw on our header. If you just click that, it takes you right to our page. And for Barb Huffman, like our page, click the notification. Or that way, whenever there's a new podcast, hey, you'll get it first.
Yep.
Hey, look, I think that we covered it all for tonight and kind of good time, sort of, kind of.
Extending last day of Black History Month.
That's right.
Get those extra few minutes.
That's right. Like the disco version back in the day, extended version. And listen, as always, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. And Black lives can't matter until
all
Black lives matter. Justice or else?
Yeah.
Peace.